Hey,
Hi,
how's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I have been so looking forward to this conversation. So I'm going to set the stage right now. So, hey everyone, you are checking out Chinwe Onyegoro and Lindsay Rainwater. You have two moms on the line, two working moms, two entrepreneurs, two female entrepreneurs who really love small business, really love solopreneurs, and want to see you win. And so you're going to hear a conversation about Lindsay and her story, and about WIFA, and then what what Pocket Suite and WIFA are doing together. So just get ready, everyone. We have a huge health and wellness and fitness community. So listen in. So Lindsay, we talk a lot with entrepreneurs just about where they started. And with partners, we like to do the same because people don't recognize it. But you running this association, yeah, you're an entrepreneur, other entrepreneurs. So I want to hear kind of what your story is and what led you down this path.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's wonderful to be here today, and thanks for having me. And I see a couple of WIFA members that have popped on. Hi, Marissa. It's so wonderful to see everyone this afternoon. Gosh, I've been an entrepreneur by nature since I was a little girl. I have this really cute picture of me when I was 3 years old, and my mom, I remember seeing it and going, "Oh my gosh, there I am." Because I had all of my teddy bears and dollies all in a circle, and I was hosting a big event. So everybody had a piece of like fake food in front of them, and I had grabbed a bunch of my parents' coffee filters and made matching hats. And boy, does that not look like a networking event or getting somebody together for a seminar. And at 3 years old, I was playing that.
I love that. I love that. I have a lemonade stand, writing the business plan for the lemonade stand. That's my story when I was
Yeah,
blood.
yeah. So I wasn't out there like hustling lemons, but I was definitely like doling out the advice, or how are you doing today, teddy bear? So long story short, I always, whenever I'm mentoring women or I get the opportunity to say, like, pay really close attention to what you played as a kid, because there's a lot of essence qualities to that come through in the work when you are working on purpose and you're working from a place of love. Oftentimes there's a lot of synergies to when you were a little kid, right? So fast forward to being an adult, and I really got my start in health and wellness as an athlete growing up. I figure skated full time and was on the ice all day long as an athlete from age 7 to 12. And so I was tutored and homeschooled, and was a contract skater. And so I was training off ice, on ice, all of the above. And so I developed a really strong muscle memory for discipline, and a love for sport, and a love for fitness at a really young age. And then in high school, I worked in health clubs. I worked in YMCAs through college. And then I ended up actually working in corporate America with Starbucks for a while, got some incredibly meaningful experiences. Graduated with my undergrad and got my way back into fitness. I started networking with the gentleman that hired me at the YMCA when I was like 17. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, you've got to meet this woman who's selling Pilates equipment. I think you two would really hit it off." Long story short, I started selling Pilates equipment and then Pilates education. And then the next thing you know, I was working for Les Mills International. I was selling programs like Body Pump and Body Combat to health clubs all over the basically South Central region of the US. And then in 2015, I started my own consulting firm. And in 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, you can do the math. I've been consulting to businesses on mostly internal strategy, a lot to do with business development, a lot to do with how they're supporting their teams internally. And in 2017, the idea of WIFA came to me. And really where it was coming from was I was at a conference networking for my own consulting work. And I was about as pregnant as I am right now. I'm 7 months pregnant right now with my daughter. She'll be here soon. I was 7 months pregnant with Oliver, who's my firstborn. And I was at a conference. All of my mentors at the time were men. And I really wanted to talk to a woman about what it was like to run a business and have a baby. Because I had this idea in my head. I was obsessed with the word integration. I didn't want to create balance because I knew that was never going to happen. So how do I create integration? How do I pause? Like, how do I create a schedule where I can go breastfeed my son and then lead the conference call right after that and not have this big like commute disruption and all this stuff? So long story short, I was really craving a place where women could get together and talk about all those things in one place. You know, a lot of women choose to not be moms. So it's not just that. It's like, how do you run a home and run a business? And how do you, there are so many little things that make or break our primary relationships and our ability to be on purpose with our work if our households aren't, you know, together, because our brains just tick through it all anyway. So why not talk about it? So long story short, there was not a networking group for women in fitness. There was not like a woman of fitness. So I started it, grabbed the .org, got it started, got a nonprofit board lined up, taught myself a bunch of stuff really quick. I'm simplifying it, obviously. 4 years later, here we are. This last year, I got a chance to actually step into the role of CEO completely instead of doing this while also consulting. And so I feel incredibly blessed that right now I'm getting to do this full time and really grow the association. So, yeah.
So, and anyone who knows Lindsay knows there's like 10x more to that story. So we're grateful to her and also know that she's just a badass. So one of the things that really excites me most just about you kind of shepherding and stewarding this organization is that you have touched so many aspects of like the fitness and health and wellness industry. You were at the YMCA very early on. You were in Pilates. You sold equipment to, you know, gyms and other health clubs. So you understand so much of like the value chain, so many different types of organizations that play in this space, and also just the kind of cultures that they currently create for women. So you're in a really good position to help create this ecosystem.
Thank you for saying that. And I think one of the things I feel really excited about is the potential for cross-pollination within the industry, because a lot of people think of the fitness industry having to do with literal physical spaces, whether it's a health club or a boutique. And, you know, just challenging that thinking that it has to do with the Fit Pro, a lot of Who Pocket Suite serves, so the individual business owners that are making their own living. And then also the opportunity to see where there are really important career development aspirations. So for instance, if you love sales and you're a personal trainer, you could potentially work for an equipment company and have a territory and be a territory manager and still be a personal trainer and train maybe 3 clients a week and then have a salary selling equipment. A lot of folks that work in a health club or that are a Fit Pro don't understand all the other different ways to be in fitness. Yeah. And so one of my favorite things to do is kind of enlighten the pros to the vendor side and vice versa, and for people to understand all the different aspects of this industry.
So if anyone's listening closely, you should be scratching your head right now saying, wait, this is an association leader talking in this way about different income streams for me. So this is why we're just all blown away by WIFA. You know, Lindsay, when we met, you told me 2 sort of stories that really just like had me sort of listening very closely. One was just around kind of bringing, right, that creating that kind of collaboration between folks who don't know about their respective industries and have an opportunity to potentially earn in those industries. And then the other was just something new that WIFA is doing around helping, you know, folks who have been around the block and have a story to tell their story and make money while they're doing it. So I'd love to just hear a little bit about just the why behind, you know, why you're playing in this way to really bring people together, and some of those examples, because I think people will really get it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the whole purpose of WIFA, so WIFA stands for the Women in Fitness Association. And we really exist for one woman to champion another woman, to use collaboration as the vehicle to help accelerate your career and then create an incredibly diverse industry while we're doing that. So what I've known of the fitness industry for the last 22 years I've been in it is that, professionally been in it, is that the majority of the industry has C-suite and ownership positions held by men, and then a lot of women working in those environments. And I have a really big heart to see women that want to be in those leadership roles get those opportunities. So that's one thing. The other thing is that, you know, historically, women have not been known for helping each other. They have not historically been known for partnering with one another in a way that isn't catty or ill intent. And so one of the things I'm hell bent on is making sure that women help women, period. If you've been there for 5 minutes longer than her, teach her how to do it and hold the door open until 5 more women come along with you. Because the reason our wage gap is stuck at 16%, the reason that 22% nationally women make up C-suite roles and not the 80+% is because there aren't enough women occupying those seats to influence those environments. So if we want women to hire women, we need to get women in those seats. And not just, you know, the woman that, like, we need to make sure that women of color are in those seats. We need to create opportunities where there were not opportunities before. And my heart is that a lot of that is going to be led by women. And so my belief is that if a woman wants to succeed, it's not as simple as just climbing the chain of command wherever you work. I believe that women have to work on purpose from a place of purpose, meaning I'm not going to use the word passion because I think that gets a little blurry about like, oh, I'm just so blissfully fucking happy all the time. It's like, no, you're not. Okay. Like, I just spent the last 3 hours in spreadsheets. Do I look blissfully happy? No. But am I clear on the facts? Yes. So like, it's not all going to be roses and butterflies and sunshine, but when you know, like I just rambled off like that, everything I just talked about deeply is embedded in the purpose of why I'm doing what I'm doing. So as long as the big picture is pointing towards my purpose, the daily actions become less relevant because I know what I'm working for. Women that are working on purpose are forces, right? So if WIFA can teach women to work on purpose, if we can teach them what their why is, why did they get out of bed? What's their self-esteem coming from? Is someone else defining how you're running your life, or are you just, you know, saying, oh gosh, I guess I have to go in from 9 to 5 versus actually I just had a baby, so I'd like to work a split schedule. I promise my productivity is going to be magical. Just let me pilot this schedule so that I can be there for my family and for you. Like if those kinds of conversations became the norm, I know that more women would thrive instead of trying to fit into a circumstance, a patriarchy that was made for men by men. I think work cultures have to be revolutionized to represent the way women work. And that starts with us having the capacity to ask for those things. It just so happens to be that I'm trying to make these changes in the fitness and wellness space, but these are global issues.
Right. So, and you know, I know the warm and fuzzies are there. There's not a whole big place for it, but your passion comes through, and I think it's real, and I think it's why people are in some ways attracted to this vision that you've created. And can you just share some examples of collaborations you've helped make happen at WIFA, and then what's also on the horizon in terms of future collaborations, future income generating opportunities for people in fitness, women in fitness?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I'm going to start with the income opportunities. So one of the things that WIFA has started piloting this year that I'm really proud of is we've launched an academy program. So we launched the Speaker Academy and the Writer Academy this month, and we are pulling facilitators in and training facilitators from our network. So by doing so, we're creating a revenue shared opportunity and also training women in the industry. So we're creating job opportunities while also creating magical content. And also, if you've ever tried to put together like a speaking reel or a video to put it's really hard. So having a think tank to do that in a short period of time that's incredibly reasonably priced is unheard of. So that would be an example of an opportunity where WIFA is creating an opportunity for someone to make money. Same thing with our LEAD program. So we have a 13-week LEAD program, which is a hybrid of personal development, career development, get down to the nitty-gritty on why you're on the planet, and then go live out your purpose. And that program, we've created it as an organization, and we're starting to train other facilitators to scale the work. But in doing that, we're also creating jobs. So that's one of our long-term strategies as an association because we are a nonprofit. And so one of the things for me as our leader over the last 4 years is constantly looking at opportunities where we're not reliant on corporate donations to fund our operations. And right now we are. because of the dynamic of our membership being in a growth stage. And so programs like this can help sustain our economic model while also creating opportunities for women in fitness. A couple of like non-paid opportunities that are also really cool is you can speak on our podcast and share your story. You can publish anything that you've authored on our blog so we can give you a larger platform. Those are a couple of ways. As far as like the things that the stories that give me goosebumps still and that I love is what I've really come to realize is there's the women that understand the opportunity. They understand that if they raise their hand and say, hey, I have this career goal in sight, how do I get there? And they let someone tell them, I'm thinking of one woman in particular that's like, I really want to speak at an event. Great. Here's how that works. It's probably going to be a couple of years before anybody recognizes your name on a speaker application. So I'm speaking 3 times at the next conference. Why don't you grab 15 minutes of my time slot?
Awesome.
Brought her up on stage, prepped her, all the things. We got her photo taken. So she was there. We could, prove it. Put it on her resume. She wrote a blog about the experience.
Nice.
You should see what's going on with this girl now. Like, she got recruited to another company, got a massive raise. She's now, I have completely lost track of how many speaking events that she's done that was only a year and a half ago. And it just, her career went from like this to this. This is a woman in her mid-20s who she listened to a couple of cues and then just ran with it. And my experience has been the women that do that, they take a couple cues and then they run with it. It's like another one of the gals that works with us came out of college or kinesiology degree, applied for her first job at like a facility, put down on her resume that she's affiliated with WIFA. The woman interviewing her happened to have worked with me 10 years ago. There was this automatic network affiliation, right? So then all of a sudden the interview climate totally changed. Oh, tell her I said hi, blah, 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 all that stuff. She gets the job. She gets the referral letter, right? So if you can have people set you up like that, and it's women helping women, it's exponential what happens, and it's quick.
Well, so 2 things. One is, just we talk a lot about the difference between mentorship and sponsorship. What you did by cutting 15 minutes of your time and sharing it with her and creating that space, that's sponsorship. That's giving her that visibility that then is like amplified as we saw happen. So creating those opportunities for folks to be sponsored is it's game changing. The other thing that's really exciting is, as I think about the Pocket Suite community and I think about these amazing kind of badass fitness women in fitness, they are creating content every day on Instagram, on Facebook. They're writing blogs. And I think about ways in which they can connect to WIFA and generate income from that, because they have, running your own business is like, that's a whole nother level in terms of being what you have to share, sponsorship opportunities you have to give, and also income you can generate from that knowledge and IP.
Absolutely. Well, so if, for instance, if I could give an example of how we could help those folks that are part of your platform. So if a woman that is on a Pocket Suite app platform, you're already creating content, you've already got it going. Tag WIFA, give us the opportunity to share about what you're doing.
Nice.
If you feel like our audience is relevant for you, join the association and publish that to our blog, and we'll send it out to our subscriber list.
Awesome.
Put it in our community page, our closed community page. Like, there's so many different ways to cross-pollinate what it is that you have going on and share it with the community. There's also a free Facebook page too.
I hope everyone heard that. You need to tag at WIFA Association. That's WIFA Association. So that's 1A in the association. And you have a distribution channel for your great content right there. So listen in there. So Lindsay, just looking ahead, we've heard a lot about the pressure that has been put on women during COVID, and everyone's hesitant to say, is COVID still happening, or are we beyond it? What are you seeing in terms of like shifts and trends, ways in which women are kind of reinventing themselves in terms of entrepreneurship and in terms of in the workforce that are can give some folks who are listening in some ideas about what they might be able to do?
Absolutely. Well, just in the past 12 months in our membership base, we've seen a shift from about 40% being self-employed to 60% to the shift to 70-30. So 70% of our members are now identifying as self-employed.
Amazing.
It's amazing. And I personally, I'm a big fan, right? Kind of my archetype. I'm like, yay, go you. So, but what also is coming, being made really apparent really quickly is that these women, the women that in fitness, they're really good at their craft and they need support on the business side. That's why Pocket Suite app exists, right? So and that's totally cool. Like that's to be expected. Like you're brilliant at what you do. Let us help you with the rest. And so WIFA's really studying and looking at, okay, is it branding? Is it social media support? Is it networking support? Like, what are the skills that you want support with that we can help you round out so that you can be successful delivering the brilliant content that you do? And so some of the things that I've seen, you know, when COVID first happened, we saw everybody got on live, everybody was promoting their workouts for free. We've started to see that kind of scale back, and there's some more sophisticated way to deliver programs and services. I think a hybrid of a series of face-to-face virtually combined with do-it-yourself work is a really magical combination. I think if you leave people 100% on their own, they don't necessarily get it done. But if you can create a hybrid where you're meeting with someone even once a week to check in, and then they're out there doing the workout on their own, and there's so many cool virtual ways to connect with people. And let's say you have them sync their data with their health app, and then they're sending you recaps for accountability. But to really leverage technology to get creative about how you're meeting people where they're at, and then also realizing how many business resources you have as a Fit Pro to help people get moving.
Lindsay, we just had a conversation with Barbara Rogers from the National Association of Nutrition Professionals last week, and we thought about this idea of bringing nutrition professionals together with fitness professionals to say, hey, how do we work together? How do we expose folks to our domain and each other? So the wheels are already turning in terms of folks to connect you with, in terms of the expanding the WIFA family. So one more question, and then we're going to go into the lightning round. So as you think about kind of the big thing that we as a Pocket Suite community and just the broader community that's listening can support you in, what are those next couple things that you're working on that we can sort of lean into and provide support on?
Yeah, the first word that comes to mind, and this is with any movement, is like the groundswell. So it takes a certain number of people all moving in the same direction to really make a change, right? I recently watched, call now, but one of our employees recommended the LFG documentary on HBO Max with the soccer players, and if you haven't watched it, go watch it. But the women's national team sued their employer for the wage gap that they saw between them and the disparity between them, the men and the women teams. So here's the bottom line, like there's a massive wage gap in America. It's global, but we're talking about America right now. And it's just gonna take women supporting women in mass to really make a difference. And so if we wanna see personal trainers and group fitness instructors paid more, then we have to have a groundswell of women all moving in the same direction. And I like to think that WIFA is a really good place to get them all together. So I think right now, we have about 1,000 women activated in our network that are moving in that direction. So join us. Like you can join monthly, you can join annually. The cost of your membership, we're a nonprofit, so it's going straight back into keeping our website up and making sure that our team is serving you. We have 4 of us that work for WIFA. And
let me jump in here.
What's that?
Let me jump in here. Pocket Suite is sponsoring. We have a scholarship. We're sponsoring anyone who wants to join WIFA. So reach out. This is honestly income generating, networking, just mind expanding, inspirational opportunity to join this ecosystem. And Pocket Suite wants to be part of the story and helping you get connected to this awesome network.
Thank you. It's so sweet. Well, and yes, you've already scholarshiped, and we've got some women that I was emailed the other day. I think it was Oliver that emailed me that said, here's the ladies that need to get set up so far. So yes, like please take Chinwei up on her offer and get a membership on them and start to get active, because it really can accelerate your career. So that's one thing, is exposure. And if you know of any organizations championing women's issues that want to support WIFA, send them our way. We're always fundraising for the next academy that we're building, the next wave of our growth cycle, so that we can create more tools and services. And then to not just join, but be active. So I think, I've heard a couple of murmurings that's like, well, I'm in my 50s and I'm at a certain point in my career. Like, what am I going to get out of it? And I'm like, give back. Like, you can, if you're at that place in your career, $100 a year is no big deal. So get to work helping. It might not, and here's the deal though, as soon as if you are in that place in your career, more than likely you will get something out of it, but it might not look like that on the surface. So those are a few things right out of the gate, is just support us, get to work with us, and also just, I think it's really easy to pretend this doesn't exist. I was on a podcast interview a couple of weeks ago, and somebody said, well, why do women in fitness need advocating? And I almost threw up. I was like, what are you talking about? What planet do you live on? Like, of course we still need advocating. Of course there's still massive opportunities to, yes, like break down the barriers just to get women working with women, but moreover, like getting paid what they deserve, teaching them negotiation skills, and helping their businesses thrive.
Awesome. Lindsay, we're going to go into the lightning round. You have this third trimester glow, so we're going to ask you some questions just about your lifestyle, because we want to support you. So what are you currently streaming? Netflix, Hulu, Amazon? What are you currently watching?
Oh, you know what I started a couple nights ago is there's a, I don't even know, it's on HBO Max, but it's a series on Obama's campaign, like his campaign and then his life cycle. So I'm I think I'm on episode 2. Super
so like
random.
the backstory. Was it the backstory in terms of his campaign?
I think, yeah, that's exactly what it was. Because
Wow.
I just finished Hacks, which if you haven't seen that,
Hacks.
awesome.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Hacks. Okay, great. And then what's your favorite place to visit, travel to? Vacation spots?
Gosh. So I live in Colorado, so I'm landlocked by way of ocean. So I loved getting out to like San Diego or like Carlsbad or somewhere like a little beach town. I have 2 toddlers and I'm so like the last.
So do I. So join the club,
so,
right?
I'm doing more vacationing and less traveling these days, if you know what I mean. So the last 2 places I went, it was like, I just want a book and a beach and a virgin margarita. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Like,
on Mother's Day, I said to my husband, you know what? I would just like a day on my own.
Yeah. Just nobody touched me. Just nobody touched me for 24 hours. I want to dive into a beach read. So yeah, I like the last 2 vacations I've went on have just been like an all-inclusive resort in Mexico. And I've either been like pregnant or breastfeeding. So I just lay there and drink like virgin daiquiris. I don't drink anyway, but like, and just read 3 books in a week. So
love it. Okay. Words to live by, favorite quote.
Oh gosh. The first quote that like really turned my head upside down was like, life is a journey, not a destination. And I live by that. Yeah,
no question. And entrepreneurship, that's a fact. And then final question is, where can people reach out to you? Where can people follow you in order to see what's coming next?
Yep. So the channel we're on now, so the WIFA Association Instagram channel is a great place to keep tabs on the association. The link in that takes you to the website with all the links that you would want to experience on our website. So check that out. If you want to get in touch with me personally, it's lindsay.rainwater, and that's my handle on Instagram, or you can find me on the WIFA website as well. Oh, can I say one more thing?
Please.
Just dawned on me. So we're doing a virtual race in the month of October that registration is open for now. It's called Run the World, like my air quotes, Run the World. We partnered with MyZone, which is one of the leading heart rate monitor companies globally.
Yeah.
And it's also so MyZone uses a term called MEPS, and so you're tracking movement. So it's less about going out and running a 5K and more about how much movement can you track in October. And then all the movement that you track in October, we're going to put a donation towards breast cancer research. Wow. So it's like a collaboration between WIFA, MyZone, and breast cancer research. And registration just opened on Monday. So it's $20 to register. There's a shirt if you want to get a shirt. There's the MyZone thingy if you want to participate in the MyZone thing. And then that's how you end up contributing to breast cancer research. So that's a fun thing we have going on right now.
This is just a quintessential example of the kind of experiences that Lindsay and her team put together. It's like no one thing. It's like there's layers to it and everyone benefits. Every stakeholder gets something out of it, puts something into it. So just keep doing what you're doing, Lindsay. Pocket Suite is really proud to be a sponsor and a partner. anyone who wants to join WIFA that's part of the Pocket Suite community, please reach out. We'll get you onboarded. And Lindsay, we're part of your fan club. So thanks so much for joining and sharing your story.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me today. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Enjoy your weekend. Bye, everyone.
Bye for now.